Hey guys, so in this video it's just going to be a big giant review of all the factoring methods we've learned up until now. First thing that I want to make sure you're aware of, make sure that you always check for a GCF first. If you don't, a lot of times you will not get the right answer. So make sure you check that first. From there, you're then going to look for the number of terms. So 4 terms was the very first factoring method we learned. That's going to be your factor by grouping. There's an example there. 3 terms is going to be what most of your questions are going to be, trinomials. So rainbow method was the method that I taught. There's an example of it. 2 terms you're actually going to see has the most possibilities. Sum and difference of cubes. Notice all of these have cubes on them, or third power. So sum and difference of cubes are going to be to the third power. Whereas sum and difference of squares, all of these are going to be squared terms. I wanted to make sure to add in here sum of squares. If you see an addition sign with a squared, that thing is not factorable. Do not fall into that trap of writing that is an actual difference of squares. Alright, so let's jump in and look at an example. Also, something to note, this chart is available on D2L that you can just print out in color, all exactly like you see there. So, for examples, completely factor the following. First example, 5c squared minus 2z minus 3. So it's 3 terms. This is just plain old rainbow. 5 times 3 is going to give me 15. My factors of 15 are 1 and 15, not 2. 3 and 5. So which two of those will give me a difference of negative 2? Well, if I do negative 5c and positive 3c, that's actually going to get me negative 2, so I'm just rewriting it. Carry everything down. Now, this is just a matter of factor by grouping. So I'm going to group up the first two, group up the second two. Well, the first two have a 5c in common, so I'll be left with c minus 1. Carry down my sign. The second two have a 3 in common, so I'll be left with c minus 1. Write down what's being repeated, c minus 1, and then write down what's left over. So that would be your final answer. Or those two flipped around. Order does not matter for those. Remember, you can check all of these by foiling. I would strongly recommend that on the test to check by FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. Alright, my second example, 2x squared plus 17x plus 21. I've got 3 terms, no GCF, so I'm going to jump straight to rainbow method. 2 times 21 is going to give me 42, and my factors of 42 are 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 14, and 6 and 7. So which two of those will get me to 17? I can rewrite 17 as 3x plus 14x. Carry everything down. Now it's just a matter of factor by grouping. So the first two, 2x squared plus 3x, they have an x in common, so I'm left with 2x plus 3. Carry down my sign. 14 and 21 have a 7 in common, and I'm left with 2x plus 3. Write down what is being repeated, and then what's left over. So I've got my 2x plus 3 being repeated, and this x plus 7 that is left over, and that would be my final answer. My third one, 8 plus 27x cubed. So I went ahead and wrote the formula to save a little bit of time. but that is actually a sum of cubes. So I see my formula. I just need to rewrite 8 and 27x cubed as something to the third power. Well, 8 is the same thing as 2 to the third, and then 27 I can rewrite as 3 to the third, and of course x to the third is already written. Now, if you remember your properties back from chapter 5, I can write that as 3x all to the third. I can take that third power all the way out. So now in my formula, I have this thing acting as A and this thing acting as B. So now it's going to be pretty easy. I'm just going to rewrite that formula, the second part, so that you can see where stuff is being filled in. So now I'm going to, everywhere I see an A, replace it with a 2. And then everywhere, go back and fill that in. Everywhere I see a B, I'm going to be replacing with a 3x. And then let me go back and fill in all my signs. So all I did, let's see if this helps, carried my signs down and my squares down. Now it's just a matter of simplifying. So I've got 2 plus 3x. Well, 2 squared is going to give me 4, minus 2 times 3 is 6x. And then that thing is 3x times 3x, which is going to give me 9x squared. And that is going to be my final answer.